right, y'all. We are live. Welcome to our conversation this week, our coffee chat. Grab your tea or coffee. We are going to continue designing the best you. That's what we're here for each and every week. Through nutrition, through movement, through better sleep, less stress. I know it's hard, but that's what we're here to guide you with. I know how hard it can be with autoimmune conditions. I have 3. I know how hard it can be with chronic illnesses. Maybe you don't even know what's going on, but as your autoimmune consultant and coach here, functional medicine nutritionist, I'm here to help you through that, guide you through those in-between moments, educating, empowering you to live your best life. We need you, especially as women. We need you at your best, okay? So as we age, oh, don't we just love that word, age, especially as women. We do everything we can to avoid that aging process, don't we? Whether it's from beauty things to lashes to hair to you name it, right? Very few of us just like to age gracefully. But here's the thing is, as our body starts to slow down, break down, develop these various symptoms, ailments, diseases. For some of us, it may seem earlier than others. I'm in my late 30s and it came a lot earlier for me. But we have to accept this as a fact. We tend to, I shouldn't say we have to, we tend to accept this as a fact without thinking much about it. We're like, we're just getting older, right? And one of the reasons for these like age-related symptoms and diseases is there's a new word going around, a little buzzword called inflammaging. I've been studying it for the last few months here. Inflammaging, it's a low-grade inflammation that develops with advanced age, okay? So here's the thing, you can live a vibrant life, and we want you to. That's the whole goal of it. And it's a lot of it's up here, but then you've got the rest of us through nutrition and movement and all the stuff that we talk about. But you can do that at any age, okay? I saw a picture years ago, and when I was working at Applebee's, gosh, in the beginning of college, and it was this older lady, and she had, I mean, she must have been late 80s, had her foot way up on a pole and was like stretching. And I was like, I literally, the first time I saw her, I'm like, I want to be able to do that at her age. And she had this big fat smile on her face, bright makeup and fun clothes. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. So we want to be able to do that. And the thing is, we got to slow this inflammaging process. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. I mean, and it wouldn't be me if I wasn't going to present you guys with a ton of data to back this all up, okay? So there was a 2013 study in the Longevity and Health Span publication saying that inflammaging may be a consequence of the innate and acquired immune system, that can increase inflammatory cytokine production in the body. Basically, what that means is genetic, environmental, and age-related factors, they all play a role in your resilience to inflammaging. Shocker, as my kids say, shocker. And they also play a role in promoting inflammation and cytokine production, decreasing autophagy, which is the body's way of basically like cleaning out damaged cells in order to regenerate newer, better, faster, whatever you want to call it ones, okay? It increases obesity and contributes to other age-related health issues, functional decline, mortality, all those things, okay? There was another study done where they pointed out a connection between inflammation and oxidative stress, okay, and the role that they play and the acceleration of age-related and chronic diseases. Basically, the conclusion said that they stated that diet, plant supplements, here's that plant thing again, okay, and the gut microbiome, those are all, okay, the key to inflammaging treatment, okay, treatment. All right, at the end here today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all of some support strategies, things like that, how we can work together if that's what you choose. I'm a proponent for doctors, but only if they're working with you and teaching you how to basically not need them. So we're going to go over nutrition, some supplements, some lifestyle, things like that, because I'm here to educate you. I don't want to sit here and say, just listen to me yip yap and not give you anything to do right now. Okay, so if you can hear my kids, I'm sorry. hold on a second here. Okay. So we want to make sure that your symptoms are, you hear them. Hold on. Sorry, kids whining. And then, so, okay, I want you to listen to a few symptoms that relate to inflammaging and see if you have any of these. So, bone loss, muscle loss. Maybe you've got some weakness, loss of strength. Maybe you've been working out for a while and you're like, oh man, I can't like lift anymore. Weight gain, fat gain anywhere. Memory problems, you have massive mood swings, and no, not PMS stuff, women. And by the way, that can be managed a lot better than many of us do. You've got brain fog. That's a big thing that we teach here too, is getting rid of that brain fog. You got body aches, you got chronic pain, digestive issues. Maybe you have some blood sugar fluctuations. Maybe even eat just like a bunch of good stuff and your blood sugar skyrockets. You get frequent illnesses, injuries, fatigue, low energy, you're trouble sleeping. Anyone? Maybe you're feeling older than you really are. I know I can relate to a bunch of those, and I have in the past, and I'm going to be real with you all as I am. I still do, okay? So inflammation, guys, can develop because of a variety of reasons, a lot of which we can control with our lifestyle, okay? So I'm going to give you a list of, I think I have 7 root causes of inflammaging. Okay, so if you're able to take notes, I'd highly recommend it, or save this so you can listen to it and take notes later, because you're going to want to know these things. Okay, so the first cause of inflammaging is eating inflammatory foods. Okay, I'm a functional medicine nutritionist. I'm going to keep stating it until the day that I die. Eating inflammatory foods. So what are those? Refined sugar, gluten, refined oils, guys, all the vegetable and canola oils and sunflower and safflower oils, guys, those are inflammatory oils. Okay, there's a reason they have a high stability for shelf life, okay, type thing. Junk foods, dairy, conventional meats, okay, highly processed foods, guys, all of those, they create and increase inflammation in your system, okay, causing all of your fatigue and your joint pains, and you're constantly getting sick, all those things, that oxidative stress that your body doesn't need. It needs a little bit, doesn't need a ton of it, okay? And it accelerates the aging process, and it accelerates chronic illnesses and symptoms and other health issues, okay? So that's the first one. Eating inflammatory foods is an inflammaging root cause, okay? So if you want to look younger, you got to start eating like you want to look younger, okay? And feel younger. The second one is blood sugar imbalances, okay? This is probably going to trigger a lot of people who have diabetes or pre-diabetic or anything like that, okay? Y'all, the development of, I sounded kind of southern there, y'all, I'm from Chicago, but the development of insulin resistance and the increase in inflammatory responses in your body, they are interlinked. Okay, here's a study again, published in, I think it was, the Journal of Clinical Investigation. Inflammation, stress, diabetes, all of those are interlinked. All of them. I don't know about you, but a no stress, diabetic person with no inflammation does not exist. Sorry. Okay. So there's these things called, and listen, this is kind of ironic, advanced glycogen end product. They call them AGEs. They're harmful compounds, okay? And they develop when you take fat or protein and combine it with sugar in your bloodstream, okay? So then it's running around in your bloodstream like this. And it develops through glycation, okay? Or it also develops in, here's something that I learned this year, in grilling, frying, or toasting foods at very high temperatures. So we all just had here in the United States, 4th of July, if you had any kind of foods on the grill, you were adding AGEs to your system, increasing your inflammation and your aging process. Whoa, right? So try to reduce those. I'm not saying don't ever have them. It's your choice. Your body, your decisions, it's always your choice. What I'm saying is that those things, if you're having, something on the grill every other night all summer long, we've got an issue, okay? And you're complaining about being tired and sore and gaining weight. That can be something, okay? So unfortunately, we've got our standard American diets, which again is the acronym, right, for SAD. Go figure, again. It's very high in AGEs, very, very high. So it ends up increasing the risk of obesity and metabolic diseases, okay, diabetes, okay, which of course are linked to blood sugar and then increase your inflammation and aging. See how this all kind of intertwines? Not kind of, it does intertwine. Okay, overall, guys, an unhealthy diet, and I'm not saying that I don't go and have like junk food here and there, of course, but I know how I'm gonna feel the next day, maybe 2 or 3. Okay, so but it's a choice. It's my choice to go and I don't have French fries anymore, but if I was gonna go have French fries, that's my choice. But it's also affecting my body and my aging process. Okay, do I really need to have it? No, it's a choice. Okay, so inflammatory foods, they cause blood sugar imbalances, hormonal dysfunctions, inflammation. Okay, you want to avoid these foods just as much as you possibly can. I want to be realistic. You want to be human and be able to enjoy some of the stuff, but don't go crazy. Okay, so that was the second one. We've got our third one, leaky gut. This is like this phrase was coined back in, I think it was like the mid 80s. I was looking at the other day, and it's really become, people thought that was quacky back then. It's still kind of quacky, right? But it's becoming more of a acceptable thing, right? Leaky gut syndrome. Do you know what that is? It refers to gut permeability. So the way I see it is, like a coffee filter, okay? And let's say it's got a couple of little holes in it, and as we know, a coffee filter, how it works, or coffee machine, how it works is the hot water comes in on top of the ground beans on top, and then you get coffee at the bottom, right? Basic. We'll keep it basic. But if there's little holes in there and you've got that hot water coming down, what happens? It weakens the coffee filter and allows those grounds to get through. And I don't know about you, we think if you drink coffee in any fashion, you drink a cup of coffee and it's got grounds at the bottom, you're like, ugh, gross, right? That's what your gut is doing, like, ugh, gross, get that stuff out. And it just starts to build up in your system, and it creates inflammation and all that stuff. It's right, eating an unhealthy diet, unhealthy lifestyle, toxin exposure, other factors, those damage your gut lining and allow things to get in, like bacteria and toxins and undigested particles, okay? They pass in your bloodstream. Guys, your immune system, 70%, it's between 70 and 75%. I keep hearing different numbers, but those are the common numbers. 70, 75% of your immune system lives on the other side of the gut wall lining. So if you're doing something to increase that permeability through the gut lining and you're exposing your immune system, guess what? You're gonna be sicker. You're gonna age faster. You're not gonna be living that vibrant life, right? Right? So it also leads to lower physical function, mobility limitations, okay? All these different things, y'all, okay? So that was number 3. The fourth one, and we've got 7 here, guys, so bear with me. Chronic stress and poor sleeping habits. Today I'm combining those because otherwise I will go on a rabbit trail. We will be diving in a little too deep on those for our little coffee chat here, okay? Chronic stress, guys, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, psychological, it's one of the top, if not the top, contributing factors to chronic inflammation and chronic health problems. Think of how fast our world is moving these days. Think of how, quote, stressed we all are, whether it's financial, physical, education, job-wise, health-wise, you name it. No one taught us in school how to manage stress, right? Now, is stress necessary to live? Absolutely it is. Not in the amounts. We were never designed to have the amounts of stress that we have in our life. And by the way, I'm gonna lean in close here. We all create our own stress, by the way. How we respond to things. And I will be the first person to raise my hand on that one. right? How many of us, when something breaks at home and we don't have the money to fix it, freak out and stress ourselves out? We lose a job. Something happens to our body. We freak out, okay? That is causing inflammation in our bodies, okay? It's a vicious cycle. It contributes to sleep troubles, right? How many of y'all, when you're stressed, sleep well? I don't. None of you guys do either, okay? There was a study from, I think it was 2017, published in Frontiers in Human Neurosciences, that explained that chronic stress is a common pathway to stress-related diseases, okay? Guys, almost every autoimmune disease is from chronic stress. I'll say that one again. Almost every autoimmune disease is a result of stress. Now again, it can be from stress from you not eating right. It could be stress from working out too much or too little, or tons of different forms of stress. It's stress, okay? Chronic stress, what it does is it disrupts the homeostasis in your body, that like all-in-one encompassing calmness effect, how everything works together. It disrupts it, okay? Ideally, that's what we want. We don't want to disrupt, but we want our body to all the systems to be working together. When you insert stress into the equation of your body trying to work together, it's like, freak out. What do we do? Where do we go? All the things, okay? So it increases that chronic inflammation. It contributes to the development of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, okay? Depression, okay? Anxiety, other stress-related chronic conditions and diseases, okay? So there's many, many symptoms of stress that I know that you guys, some of you are aware of, some of you aren't, but we go into depth on that in my courses. So if you want to learn more about that and how to manage the stress and get that, a lot of that out of your life, freeing you from the chronic symptoms, feel free to message me, check out my bios, things like that, okay? We dive into it, and I talk about it quite a bit. So bear with me on my podcast, all that, okay? The fifth one that I want to talk about, 5, environmental toxins and EMFs, the electromagnetic frequency waves, okay? Environmental stressors, I'm going to tell you this from personal experience, are a huge contributing factor to inflammaging and any related chronic illness symptoms, okay? Unfortunately, I was actually on the phone with my naturopath yesterday going through one of my tox screen results, and environmental toxins, including like air pollution, water pollution, toxins in our tap water, in our foods, plastic packaging, styrofoam packaging, you name it, herbicides, artificial ingredients in food, all those things. And by the way, did you know, like with salmon, it's not pink. They add stuff to it to make it that pink. That's a toxin, okay? Body products, I was just reviewing on Skin Deep on the EWG website, different products that I have and how they could be toxic to my system, and some of them were, and I thought just because they say natural or organic does not mean that that there aren't ingredients in there that are gonna cause your personal system to be affected, okay? So a lot of these things, modern day life, okay, so don't go crazy and be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go hide in a hole. You can't avoid most of them, okay? But some of those things that you can avoid, what happens is they disrupt that homeostasis, okay? And it causes the inflammaging, it causes allergies, it causes chronic symptoms and chronic health issues. The idea here is to be educated and empower you to take control of whatever you want to take control of for your personal health, okay? Then you have EMFs, right? We have our phones. I'm gonna grab mine later, but the EMFs, okay, that's why I wear this EMF protector pendant from Harmony. Okay, and I'll put the link to their stuff in some notes here. But that 5G, everyone's like, I want 5G, I want it faster, blah, blah. Do y'all know that excessive, even just moderate exposure to the EMFs and the 5G, okay, disrupt, okay, and disrupt our systems, and contribute to memory loss, headaches, fatigue, cardiovascular stress, reduced immunity, and just this array of other illnesses, okay, from chronic inflammation, all right? They're extremely harmful. I mean, think about this. Think of how many electronic devices you have going that depend on Bluetooth or the internet or anything like that around your home, your TVs, your laptops, your phones, devices, all over the place. They're on all the time. That disrupts our bodies. Okay? And then think of the difference it makes when you go when you go camping and you don't have any of that around. Your body feels completely different, doesn't it? Okay? It's, if you can reduce those in any way, shape, or form, like for me, like my husband and I, we wear these pendants, and we've even felt calmer. I don't have like a Gauss meter here to measure it, but I've done the studies. It works. Okay, do it, because it reduces cancer. Like all these things. Oh my goodness, all these things. Okay. Now the sixth one is chronic infections. This is something like we know we have, but we don't tend to check. Okay, I did this actually last year because I was like, I ain't feeling good. Something ain't right. Right? As women, we know this really well. Like, something's not right. Like when we hear the things from the doctors and they're like, oh yeah, your blood work's fine. You're like, no, something's not right. Okay, so chronic infections, they can happen anytime in our life, and they can stay in our systems and not be activated. Okay, for example, I have chronic Epstein-Barr. I had it at some point in my life, you don't know when, and it stayed in my system and kept being activated by my lifestyle. Okay, so things like chronic gut infections, you've got herpes virus. That was the other one I had. It was a HB6, constant in my system. Lyme disease, candida overgrowth. If you constantly get yeast infections, you're like, why do I keep getting them? That's a problem. That's a chronic infection. Figure it out. Detox yourself. There's candida protocols that you can do to remove those from your system as much as possible. Fungal infections, any kind of other bacterial infections that you get on a regular basis. Women, you know those fairly well. Parasitic infections, okay? Things like that, they all compromise your immune system. And if you don't take care of it, you don't know you have them, right? You can't do anything about it. But if you're not feeling right, get those checked out. There's a whole battery. There's a test that runs a whole battery of them, and you can check the major ones to see if you have them, and then do something about it. A lot of us, we get scared because we get results. We're like, oh my gosh, now what? No, here's the cool thing. It's like this magic gift. You have the knowledge now. You may not know exactly what to do with it, but you have that information. Now you do something with it. You find someone and do something with it, or you figure it out, or you reach out to someone like me, and if I don't have the answer, I will find it for you. That's my journey. My God-given purpose is I'm going to find it for you, figure it out, help you out. Okay? All these things add up. Another thing we don't think about too is oral infections. If you're constantly getting like sores in your mouth, things like that, guys, I worked for a dental manufacturer. I learned a lot about our oral health and how much it contributes to our gut. Go figure. Think about it. Anything that goes in your mouth, it's in your body. It's inside, okay? You can, if you have cavities, right, untreated ones, if you're like, I can't afford to get them done, they end up turning to root canals. Trust me, I've had one, two actually, not fun. Gum disease, if you're brushing your teeth and it's bleeding a lot, so you've got some kind of infection. I actually had for a while, between my first and second child, I had gotten geographic tongue. We found out it was related to my gut. Okay, and a zinc problem too. So I couldn't eat spicy foods. I love spicy foods, okay? All those things add up. Then we have nutrient deficiencies, okay? I'm only gonna go into a couple of them just to spare everyone's time. And like I said, I go in depth on a lot of these things in my programs and webinars, and I've got some free trainings on it too. But some of the biggest nutrient deficiencies in Americans are vitamin D and B vitamins. Go figure. Even people here, I live in Phoenix, sunny Phoenix, have major vitamin D deficiencies, okay? So the need for vitamin D, let's start with that. It has so many functions for our body, right? It helps improve our mood, right? It helps with our bones and our muscles, our memory, things like that. So if you're having symptoms of low vitamin D are things like you got mood issues, you got major mood swings, and it's not during that time of month, ladies. Okay? You're depressed. Okay? You've got an increased sensitivity to pain. Like if you drink water, I had this for a while. I would drink even warm water and I'd be like, oh, my teeth, ow, it hurts. You get stress fractures. Oh my goodness, did I get those in my feet? I was a runner for many years. stress fractures. And you're like, oh, it's just a little pain, it's just a little pain. No, it's a stress fracture. It's going to cause some major issues. Vitamin D, okay? Muscle weakness, those are just a few. So if you have any of those, like, get that level checked for sure. And then another one is vitamin B. Oh my goodness. The B vitamins, right? B3, 6, 2, 12, all the ones in between, okay? They're essential for cellular health. Energy levels. If you're like, I have low energy, first of all, check your foods. Second of all, then check your B levels, okay? Your doctors can do that for you, all right? It manages your brain functions, thyroid, mental health, nerve function, digestion. I think those are pretty much all the systems our body needs to function. So B vitamins are huge. I know I take some B vitamins. We've done injections, things like that. These tend to decline with age and through inflammaging. But if we can control that and start managing those things now, it helps, right? Some of the symptoms of low B vitamins are you have adrenal fatigue, you have hormonal imbalances, you're having thyroid issues, you're getting numbness, tingling, troubles detoxing, right? I had for a while, I was like, I'm working out for like 2 hours, I ain't sweating. That's awesome. No, that should have been a sign years ago. My body's not able to detox appropriately because of other things going on. So, guys, it's so important too for brain health. If you're having brain fog, again, remove the foods, eat appropriately, and then start checking your deficiencies, your nutrient deficiencies, your mineral deficiencies, okay? There's so many other things we can go through, but I want to make sure I dive into some labs. These are some of the actionable items that you can do right now. Some labs that you can run, and I want you to, of course, always talk to your doctor first, okay? Don't just go run these labs on your own. I know some places can do that, but what's the point of running them? You don't know what to do with them. Or you can bring them to me. I do specialize in reviewing labs as well. So the first one you're going to want to do is, if you're having signs of inflammaging and you just want to start looking younger and feeling younger, check your fasting insulin and HbA1c, okay? Since I said earlier that blood sugar imbalances are a problem, they're a major cause of inflammaging, check your fasting insulin and your HbA1c levels, okay? Testing these can recognize elevated blood sugar levels at different times of the day, okay? And can detect the inflammation, insulin resistance, which is a major issue these days, blood sugar issues, and diabetes, okay? Definitely a big one. The second one, this is a really big one for those who already have chronic illnesses or autoimmune conditions. And even if you don't, still get this checked out if you have signs or symptoms of inflammaging, because it checks your inflammation. So that second one is CRP, which is a C-reactive protein test, okay, blood test. So what it does is it measures a protein, that's CRP, that is produced in the liver to assess inflammation, okay? And in a rheumatology publication, elevated levels of CRP may be associated with muscle strength weakness. So if you're having muscle strength weakness, better check that CRP level, because you probably have some inflammation. Now, it's not going to tell you where in your body you have inflammation, but it's going to tell you that you have high levels of inflammation. And then what do we start with, everyone? Food first, okay? The third one that we can check is our serum ferritin, okay? Ferritin, if y'all don't know, is iron. There's multiple forms of iron in our body, but the serum ferritin is a simple blood test, and it measures the level of ferritin in your body, okay? It detects iron deficiency anemia and all kinds of other issues, okay? So elevated levels can show that you have inflammation, liver disease, autoimmune disease, disorders or diseases, and even cancer, okay? So I want to say here, it's our coffee chat and I'm barely drinking my coffee, but if you're dealing with inflammaging, okay, if you're dealing with inflammation, if you're dealing with these chronic symptoms, these chronic health issues, okay, and you want to prevent them, you want to manage, first of all, you want to manage them, because we got to manage them first, and then we want to prevent them, okay, from happening at all, because they don't just disappear in one day, by the way. We all want this quick pill. We all want this quick diet. Sorry, it's a lifestyle, y'all. Hate to break it to you. It's a lifestyle, and it's not always easy, okay? It's hard at first, but the thing that you want to do is address your nutrition first. I could have focused on so many other things in terms of my education, and teaching you guys and consulting and all the things. But you know what? Nutrition always comes first. Always. Okay? So I recommend definitely an anti-inflammatory diets. I have a whole program where I have the recipes, the meal plans set up for you. And let me tell you, it's kid-friendly and husband-friendly. I've worked on this for years, y'all. Back when they had like all the nasty, gross, like gluten-free foods before they actually started to taste decent. I went through that and I was like, I don't like that. So I started working on some things. And my family comes from an Italian and German family, so we we kind of know how to cook. So if you want things like that that are free of refined sugar, free of the dairy, all the conventional oils, the things that we talked about, let me know. I'm here to help you through this whole entire process. All right, so that concludes our coffee chat for today on inflammation and how it makes you age. If you have any questions, please feel free to, put them in the notes here or the comments here on Instagram or on Facebook. Feel free, if you're listening to this later on the YouTube channel or on the podcast, or send me a message. I love responding to the messages online from you guys. It helps me connect with you and really understand where you're at in your journey, because we're all different. But I do want to stress that we are working on designing the best you, because you know what? The world needs you at your best. Okay, we all have a gift that we are to give to this world, and it's really hard when we're in pain and we have brain fog and all the things around these chronic health issues. All right, until next time, we'll see you.